Hey everyone, and welcome back to Cave Factory. Let's jump into the episode. So to get started, I figured we'll kind of show this little area over here. You can see I've done a little bit of remodeling to the farm. On top of that, I'm going to start to kind of build out some other farms and stuff because I've gathered some plants basically throughout my time being on here. But you can see we got carrots, we got wheat. We also have some sugar cane and cactus and other odds and ends in our chest. But I've just been working offline to just kind of make this a little bit better than the last farm that we had. Also, someone wrote out, I believe you can place sugarcane on dirt. Someone just wrote that out, and I just totally didn't do that in the last episode and completely forgot. So that's 100% an option. Also, if you spam shift, hopefully it does it. There we go. It'll actually grow plants within a radius. So I've been using that to basically just expand the farm. But our main goal that we have right now is I've updated to the most newest version of this mod pack. I don't know why I had a version that was like 5 versions before. Nothing much has changed, so nothing should conflict with what we're doing. I've looked into the quests. There's some new ones. The biggest one is our mob drops have been moved to the bottom left, and our drawers are now in the top right. Our very first thing we gotta make is just any type of drawer, and I'm gonna do a little bit of a semi-tutorial of how drawers work. So our very first one, we're just gonna make an oak drawer. So this holds a single item and holds 32 stacks of that item. So like cobblestone might be a good one. And then with our drawers, which we might as well collect the compacting drawer really quick. We can go ahead and make a drawer key, which is going to be something that's going to be pretty useful to us, which, oh, I forgot the gold. There we go. So now we could take our drawer key, and in order to make a drawer key, we need an upgrade template. So to make our drawer key, which is going to basically allow us to lock our drawer, so we can set a certain drawer to be one type of item, really good for automation. We're going to go ahead and make an upgrade template. This is just sticks and one type of drawer, so we've already made one. This will make 4 upgrade templates, plenty of us to do what we need to do. And then we wanted to make the drawer key, which is just a gold nugget, 2 gold ingots, which we should have as well. Perfect. So now that we've made that, we should be able to go ahead and mess around and kind of set up somewhat of a storage system for us. Awesome. So we've done some renovations. So over here is just a bunch of drawers, and I believe it's a drawer controller that I could place in the center, which is right over here. That would essentially allow us to right click on the drawer controller and it would just auto sort all these items into these drawers for us. That's my hope. And then in the future I can get a little bit more advanced, such as like auto smelting and smelt like iron automatically and sort it in the drawers and things like that. But for now, this takes care of if I go ahead and start mining some things. I can just throw it into these chests a little manually and it should work. Or drawers, excuse me, not chests. Keep note, if you're doing the same system, right click with your key to lock every drawer. That makes it so if you like take out all these diamonds by just shift left clicking, it's still going to hold diamonds in there. Keep it so the diamonds are always in that spot. I've thrown my other odds and ends in an iron chest, the one from the beginning. Moved our part builder and stuff over to this side. And then in here, there's a whole separate section of drawers that I technically could add to the first one, but I just did this for ease of access. This is all my plants, so now when I harvest all of this stuff, I can go over here, and I guess we don't have carrots, but I can put carrots into there, put our wheat in there, our seeds in there, and we're all sorted with all of our items, just basically all set, just like that. So that is our beginning of our sorting area, and the reason I didn't make a drawer controller is you can see stone, drawers, cool, diamond, difficult, we can get. But the one thing I have not found yet is nether quartz, and I don't believe that it is dropped by just via mining. I think we actually have to go to the nether, so that means that we would need some lava and things like that, and I think we might be getting a little ahead of ourselves to go in that direction. But for today, I think we should start to dive into the blood magic, kind of push myself a little bit to see on how we can do this. Also, grass might be worth it to look into, but yeah, I think blood magic is kind of our way to go. Okay, so we already made a step in the right direction. We made a weak blood orb, which is essentially throwing diamond into a blood altar that has blood in it. And then that gave us sugar and clocks, which is really interesting reward. And it says to right click to bind it to yourself or it won't work unbound, which I didn't totally understand what that is. So I think I'm gonna have to read a little bit more into the book, but it says to use the rewards from this quest to upgrade the spawner. Right click on it with them in your hand. I wonder if it's just like this. Nope. Maybe like this. Oh, spawner modification. Yeah, I haven't figured out what it was talking about here. It said that I could go into JEI, but that might be just an advancement that's a little off. But if we flick this guy on, I'm gonna go with the sugar makes it so they spawn more faster or quicker. And we also need our sword. And the clock, maybe more frequency? I don't know. Total guess is right there. But we can still go ahead and right-click on this guy. Auto picks up items. Auto puts blood into the blood altar. So we're still good. Cool. So I just got some soul snares, which soul snares are a little bit tricky. I'm trying to understand them. But you basically place string onto a blood altar that has blood in it, of course. And then that turns into a soul snare. And then I believe if you right-click on a zombie, let's try this again. There we go. Yeah, so you want to throw it at them and you want to hit them. And then you should be able to, we'll bring them over here so we can steal the blood as well. You should be able to then kill said zombies, and it gives you demon will. Look at that. With, I guess, a certain number of will quality. Now, one other thing we want to do is right-click with this weak blood orb. It's going to hurt us, but this now gives us an owner, so it's now stuck to us. And I believe that this is going to be how we transfer our, like, demon soul between things. I'm going to have to really dive deep into this. Oh, probably would have been good to, I don't know, Rocket, look at the magic tab that literally talks about all of this. Wow, yeah, probably should have just looked at this. I will say this is pretty cool. So it looks like the bottom is Botania, but I don't even know. I'm not even gonna try. I always butchered that word. And then the top is all of blood magic. So we can kind of follow this, which I've been semi-following this because the soul snare is the beginning to make Tartaric Gems, something like that, which is used inside of a Hellfire Forge, which is what I was progressing to. And then that makes a Sentient Sword, which makes it so we don't have to use soul snares anymore. Essentially, if we kill, kill mobs with the Sentient Sword, it gives us these demon wills, which is exactly what we were looking for. And that looks like that's where we are progressing through this entire section. There we go. We got blank slates. So a blank slate is just, okay, I still have the stone. It's just right-clicking stone on the blood altar with blood in it, and that turns into blank slates, which is going to be used to craft the alchemy table. I believe it's also used to craft the, Hellfire Forge, and then all of that is basically just like iron stone, gold iron stone, so nothing really too out of our league. And then we're also going to make Arcane Ashes, but we need the alchemy table to do that as well. I believe this weak blood orb, you can right-click, it hurts yourself to basically give blood to this orb. Or I believe if we right-click on, the blood altar, it'll actually fill up the blood as LP into this orb for us. So that's kind of a better way to do it besides, of course, hurting ourselves. And there are ways to upgrade this, so filling this orb and stuff like that is a lot faster, which is something we're going to dive into in a little bit. There we go. Alchemy table, Hellfire Forge, and that has given us an iron sword as a reward. I guess it's not the worst thing to get. And it has also given us some blank slates. Awesome. So we don't have to make more of those. Now, I don't know if placing these guys matters where we place them. For now, I think I'm just going to... Wow, that's a really big table. Was not expecting that. There you go. For now, I just placed it like this. Again, I have no idea if placement matters or anything like that. You could see that things are going to get a little complicated here, but we got the Hellfire Forge, we get the Alchemy Table, we have the Blood Altar. I believe our next step is to, and here is to make a Tartaric Gem, which is storage for demonic will, which is inside the Hellfire Forge, but it looks like, we could use Demon Will with redstone, gold, lapis, and some type of glass, and that will make a petty Tartaric Gem. Which can actually sit in our necklace, so I wonder if it'll actually just hold on to it, like, on us. All right, so after some reading, I think it's worth going over it, because I didn't know this mod, and you could just use the timestamp to skip over this if you already knew this mod, but we have our alchemy table, that really big table that we've created. That is essentially a crafting table, kind of, sort of, in a really horrible explanation, that uses our blood orb, that, of course, has blood drawn into it. They call it LP in this. And it allows you to craft things like Arcane Ashes, Regents for Sigils, Anointments, and 2x ore processing, and various other odds and ends. If you don't know what any of that meant, just it crafts certain things with that. There's the Alchemy Array, which we're going to make soon, which is, I believe, made in the Alchemy table. Could be wrong. Oh, it says that that's made by placing Arcane Ashes. Oh, placing Arcane Ashes on the ground. Arcane Ashes themselves are made from the Alchemy table, so yes. And it allows you to have 2 items inserted into it via the right button, and it can craft items such as the Divination Sigil, or perform some kind of function such as turning day into night. So can do functions, but also another way of crafting some things. There's also the Hellfire Forge, which uses Demon Will, which is those things that we were getting when we killed zombies, and it gave us those little demon, what is it called? Yeah, literally called Demon Will. And it allows you to craft things such as the Sentient Sword, which allows us to kind of skip that whole process of throwing that item and then getting the will. We can just use the sword to get the will whenever we want to. And it can also craft things that are usually like Tartaric Gems, Sentient Tools, and consumables like explosive charges and throwing daggers. So that is all of tier 1 of this mod. So let's go ahead and craft some of those items. So to start, we're going to do the alchemy table. Now, I believe it's the alchemy table that we're using to craft these Arcane Ashes. Yeah, so it says we need coal, white dye, gunpowder, and coal. And we need to use our orb as well. So if I just shift or right click these guys into here, I'm hoping that it works. We got a bar moving, so that looks good. Don't know what these DUNSWE is, but it should. Yep, turns into Arcane Ashes, and it looks like we're just run out of blood, so we can actually just take this and place this in here, and it should go ahead and fill up for us now. But once we did this, we have unlocked the Divination Sigil. It says Peer into the Soul, which we'll dive a little bit deeper into that in a second. But while this is filling up, we should be able to work on crafting our sword that we want to make. Yes, our Sentient Sword. So now I understand why they gave me an iron sword. So to make a Sentient Sword, we need a Petty Tartaric Gem, which I think I said pretty before, but Petty Tartaric Gem. And we need the iron sword as well. And then looks like we need, we can just put Demon Will there. But the Petty Tartaric Gem is Demon Will, gold, lapis, redstone, and glass. So let me go ahead and grab that. Well, this is gonna be awkward because we need to get glass, and I believe, oh, maybe not. Well, we have a couple different options. One is, of course, just smelting sand, get glass, which sand you would think would be easier to get at the moment, but not really. Everything else looks like we can't really use that. So unless you make glass shards, which we cannot. So it looks like in order to get that, we need sand. Now, yeah, there's no endstone sand. I don't think red sand is going to be any easier. And then sand is able to, you basically can get sand using crushing wheels, which is, of course, the create direction to go into this. You can also use a crusher from Immersive Engineering, but I don't know if the crusher, it's not giving me a recipe. So I don't think that that's going to be that easy to make. And everything else is kind of through Botania. Which Botania I don't really want to dive into just yet. That'll probably be like a separate episode. I've done it before, or at least a portion of it. But I think creating the create stuff setup will make more sense because this also puts us in the direction of improved ore processing, which is really good for us. So I guess we're gonna have to work for crushing wheels now. And just to confirm, you can see also in this direction, literally to get sand, it's asking us to go ahead and make mechanical crafters, make crushing wheels, so on and so on. So it kind of makes sense. And now that we have water, we could also do water wheels as a power source, which is a little bit better than a windmill. So that might be something that we set up. All right, we're back in. It's been like 7 days since the last recording, but we're back in, and I've made a little area with mechanical crafters, and I'm gonna base this off of if you've never done create. So mechanical crafters also, if you have done create, have a totally different recipe in this. They're literally just made of crafting tables, which is totally different than regular create, as I'm sure many of you guys know. And you need 21 of them, I believe. Is it gonna tell me? Yeah, 21 mechanical crafters, and you just have to place them in this formation. So 3x3 outlined by 3, 3, 3, and 3. That's how you do it. So once you do that, you're going to take a wrench, and let me take these goggles off to make it easier. And you just want to rotate these guys, and so that they all connect together at a single position, and then one will be aiming to the outside. This is where once all these items are crafted, it's just going to output to the side. Now, also, you need to power the system. So I've set up a little power source, which I've left broken open so I can show you how it works. So just small cogwheels that are connected to the cogwheels of the mechanical crafters, some shafts. They connect to 2 vertical gearboxes. You could use probably cogwheels that connect to some water wheels. And the water wheels, how can I show you guys this? Let's see. Try to do this without breaking the system. So the water wheel is placed in line of this vertical gearbox. And then there is a block that's placed to the left with water source, or with a water source block on top of that. And what that does is it makes the water touch all of the sides of the water wheel except one, And if you put your goggles on, they should each have 256 stress units, giving the most amount of stress you can get, unless you get soul sand, but we'll cover that later. Also, I've let the water just kind of pour forward. This gives me, I believe, an infinite water source. I haven't checked it out, but if not, I have ways of getting water in this, so I'm not too worried. But to make our crushing wheels, which is kind of our first goal of like an ore processing system, but also getting sand, it's going to be planks, and you can use any planks, placed around in this diamond shape. Again, we'll take these goggles off to make it easier. Andesite alloy, that it's going to be placed around the entire outside. So you're going to have to really kind of grind for a large majority of this. And then we need a piece of stone, which I just realized I used to replace the wall. So one sec. And that piece of stone just goes in the center. If you've done it correctly, it should start crafting. If you run into any issues, just leave a comment down below, and I'm sure that I can assist with you guys. And there we go, crushing wheels. And then that should just pop right onto the floor. We get a pair of giants, and that should give us 2 chutes, which are not horribly useful, but we can definitely use for the crushing wheels themselves. And that has now led us in the direction of getting sand, because this is by crushing cobble into gravel, and then gravel turns into sand. So that's how we get sand. It's also then gives us access to glass. Starts heading us towards the whole seared area of Tinker's Construct, but also we could use the sand for our blood magic, which is our focus for this episode. Now, I've also done a little bit of reconstruction in our farm over here. To the right, I've built a little area, which it's kind of like a little lake for us, and I'm growing kelp in here, because if you place kelp on the first block, it'll start to grow up, and then you can just simply break it just like so, and you get a lot of kelp pretty fast. It doesn't really take too much work, which is perfect for us because we can use kelp to actually make belts. So if I type this in, you can see it's 6 dried kelp, which we can dry on a campfire. You could smelt it, and that turns into belts, which is great for automation inside of Create, which is how I'm going to start to semi-automate this entire ore processing, or how we're going to get sand. So I'm kind of planning a little bit further ahead in this scenario. All right, we're going to try that again. As you can see, I'm almost dead because I was demoing the crushing wheels, and I fell into them. So we're gonna try not to do that now. There goes all of my food. So as you can see, I have like the remnants of an ore processing system. If this seems overwhelming, don't worry about it. I'll go over this in another episode because this isn't complete. I need brass, I need quartz, things like that we don't have yet in this episode. So it'll probably be in either the next episode or the episode after that. Is when I'll actually dive into what's going on here. But all we have is we have a bunch of water wheels that are powering into vertical gearboxes. They're powering this fan. Ignore that, doesn't matter. And they're powering this belt. Now this belt, I also, if I pick these up, I have vertical gearboxes connected to the mechanical belt via a shaft. That makes it so we have 2 crushing wheels that are spinning in opposite directions. And that means if an item goes in there, it's going to go ahead and crush it, which is exactly what we need. And then I have an andesite funnel that's just made out of andesite and dried kelp. So you can make those too. That just pulls items out of like chests, anything that has an inventory. So if I throw this 32 cobblestone in here, you're going to see it's going to slowly crush right into gravel. And I have it just going out into a depot. It's technically actually going to try to wash here, which is not what we want to do. So let's do this for now. I'll pick up that encased fan. But as you can see, it's going to make a bunch of gravel. It's going to place it onto the depot. You could technically just have to go right into a chest, but for now I have it just going into a depot. And then if we grab said gravel, which let's take the rest of this cobblestone out of here, so I can just continue to just pick up this gravel. I can even grab it from the belt, to be honest. It might be a little easier. So now I have a bunch of gravel. Let's just throw this stack onto here. If I throw that into the crushing wheels, it's going to go ahead and crush. It should crush the entire stack, or the 17 gravel that I've thrown onto the belt, and that should turn into sand. So that's a little bit faster than andesite funnels that just pull one item out at a time. But again, I'll go over that a little bit more during the ore processing videos. Cool. So this has actually made a bunch of sand for us. It's also made some flint, and it's made some clay. That's okay. Those are kind of like byproducts of the system. But we did get 17 sand, which if we click on this, gives us a whole bunch of glass. It gave us 44 glass. And now that we have sand, we can go back into our blood magic. And there we go. So the item that we were trying to make is the petty Tartaric Gem, which it looks like we would need our demon will. We need gold, lapis, redstone, and glass, which is exactly where I needed the glass from. So a lot to do to get to that, but let's grab these other ingredients. There we go. And if we open the Hellfire Forge, we can throw our ingredients in here, demon will in here, Throw our glass in here, and this should try to process. Hopefully. Yep, it turns into a petty Tartaric Gem. Perfect. And that should give us... It looks like it gave us an extra one. There we go. Okay, so this should give us the Sentient Sword now, which we actually have 2, which is really nice because once we get this sword, we're then going to want to upgrade our gem, and I believe that this consumes it. So if we throw... Let's take these guys out. There we go. We threw the petty Tartaric Gem in there, we threw the Sentient Sword in there, and I don't know if we needed... I don't know if we needed the will in there, because see how there's like will quality? So we might have not needed that, but there we go. We got the Sentient Sword now, which allows us to basically skip that whole step of throwing items at the zombies and killing them. We can now just use the Sentient Sword, and that will work just fine. And that also gives us a Looting 3 enchanted book, which if we can add this to our sword works really well because this actually gives us a better chance at dropping those items. And I figured just mentioning this, if we flick this guy on so it spawns zombies, this should be that when I kill things with the Sentient Sword, it fills this petty Tartaric Gem. Basically, the Tartaric Gem is just like a holding system. It's gonna hold the will inside of it. Instead of dropping these demon wills, it's just gonna go ahead and hold right into here. At least that's my understanding. We'll see. We'll have to wait for these zombies to spawn. There we go. And we can see that it's given us a will quality of 10, and I believe that we can also wear this as a necklace item. Yep, there we go. And it should automatically collect things. We'll have to see. Yep, it does. Perfect. So we can keep it in that slot from now on, and it should be able to detect or collect everything that we need. So I just found out something. If we go into, well, I guess I was already in it. If we go into the basic automation side of things, we've of course got Arcane Ashes up and running. And that gave us a divination sigil, which I think at the time I was like, I have no idea what to do with that. But we actually have the ability to make a water sigil, and that says that we should be able to get an infinite water bucket. It says use a blank slate and a water regent on the created circle to make a water sigil, which acts like an infinite water bucket as long as you have enough blood in your blood network. Which we just need a water regent, we need a blank slate. Using these Arcane Ashes, and the water regent is just sugar and 2 things of water, which I have a thing of sugarcane, which I expanded the farm a little bit of a sugarcane thing, just water, sand, quite easy. And then over here, we should be able to open the alchemy table, which I'm just going to grab this stuff out of here, throw in our 2 water buckets, our sugar, and orb error. The orb's tier is not high enough for this recipe. Well, if I throw that in there, there we go. We just had to put the orb in there, and that should craft into this water regent. And then we just need a blank slate, which we have one of those. We need this Arcane Ashes. It says used to draw an alchemy circle, and we should be able to make a water regent. Let's see if we can pull this off. There we go. And we should be able to place this Arcane Ashes. It looks like it's made like a circle on the ground for us. And then I believe we throw a blank slate down. Aha, there we go. All right, so what we have to do is you have to right-click the water regent first. It should change the symbol, and if you shift and look at it, it should tell you what's inside of it. And then we should be able to take a blank slate, right-click that. There we go. Now it's spinning, and that should pop out what we're looking for, hopefully. There we go, water sigil. And it says infinite water anyone, so let me try it in an area that it doesn't cause problems. Yep, look at that. So we can just keep clicking, and we have an infinite amount of water now. Pretty awesome. I also have a hole in my floor now. That also gave us the Sigil of the Blood Lamp, which allows us to basically place a light. So we have an infinite light. So if we place it, it does these little redstone sparks, which actually kind of act as like a version of a torch, but you can just punch it if you want to break that. We also got the Divination Sigil, which is telling us our current essence. Interesting. That's something that we received in one of the other things. I just didn't know what they did. Probably someone in here is yelling at me about blood magic, but at least I figured it out so far. It's also worth noting that there are spike arrays, which are basically you put spikes in the ground. It's just cobblestone, iron, and arcane ashes. Pretty cheap, actually. I don't know if we're going to set that up on our mob farm just yet. But we could just basically use a bunch of iron, cobblestone, and arcane ashes, and it will just automatically kill all of our zombies. That might be kind of interesting. This is really cool, is that you can actually make a lava sigil as well, which allows us to basically have infinite lava. So that divination sigil that told me how much LP I have on my character, it's kind of, that's how the ability of infinite stuff works. So for lava, every time I would use the lava sigil, it costs 1,000 LP. If I don't have it, it does 5 hearts of damage to me. Pretty significant amount. Now, not horribly difficult to craft, but you do need a lava bucket in the crafting recipe, and I don't remember if I have lava in this just yet. But once you do that, you can then use a lava sigil in a bucket inside of a crafting recipe, or excuse me, inside of an alchemy table. And that will just make an infinite amount of lava buckets, or you could right-click with this and use the 1,000 LP as well. So pretty neat. I've added that to our bookmark section so that I can keep track of that. All right, so I think it's come a time to upgrade this blood altar. So I've actually made a little side room for us that still connects to the zombie spawner, because I believe that we still need to kill zombies near this to fill this with blood, I believe. But in order to upgrade it, you need 8 blank runes. Don't make 4 speed runes just yet, because I realized I probably could have just made 4 blank ones and 4 speed ones. But if you open the, I'm not even trying to pronounce this, the Sanguine Scientium, I don't know, and you end up going into the blood altar, it tells you how to upgrade this. And if you hit visualize, you can then just click on the space by right-clicking, and it will actually show a progress bar of what you would need to place down. It looks like these corner areas need to be blank slates, and then the ones that you can see are changing different colors, they could be blank slates to start out, or you could use things like speed runes, which I've already misplaced one of them, to upgrade it. So a speed rune just makes it process a little bit faster from my understanding. So just like this, there's speed runes placed all incorrect. And then there is our blank runes. And just like that, it has now been upgraded, and it should be, there you go, it says tier 2 now. So we actually have a tier 2 blood altar. So another little tip, if you want to actually have blood go into the blood altar, it looks like it has to be within 2 blocks away for it to actually fill up. So keep that in mind, because it wasn't filling at first. So I kind of had to just shift this guy over here, and I'm sure maybe once I upgrade it to like a tier 3, it'll have a farther range or something like that. But for now, we had to move that over there. All right, and I think that's where I'm going to end this episode. So this might be a little bit quick to go ahead and end the episode here, and it might be kind of a little bit on a cliffhanger, but that's okay. I just put a post on my community page on YouTube of if you prefer more like 10-minute episodes and maybe a couple episodes a week, or if you prefer just a longer like 20-minute episode once a week. So let me know if that's what you want or which direction you want me to go in that sense. But I'm just trying to balance my time with making YouTube content. But I think I'm going to end this episode here. If you guys enjoyed, drop a like, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.